Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Spencer Self. I'm the City of Phoenix Neighborhood Services Director. I want to thank you for joining us today to recognize a major milestone as the renovation begins at the Haven, where approximately 170 homeless seniors will find a safe indoor bed. We have a number of important speakers here who I will announce in just a moment to speak. But first, I wanted to give a little bit of background. This project developed as the result of a pilot project at another hotel during COVID that was a partnership between Central Arizona Shelter Services and the City of Phoenix called Project Haven. And it worked so well, CAS wanted to create a permanent model based on that design. The city provided a competitive grant process that CAS applied for, and they secured the initial investment for the project, which was expanded through funding from the State Department of Housing to provide for the acquisition and renovation of the old Phoenix Inn that was formerly at this site. During COVID, we found that hotels were a quick way to get unsheltered people off the street and into a safe space. But when you buy an old hotel for long-term use, the project really is much more involved, especially when you want to make sure that to keep the community in mind and truly make the facility safe for those who are housed here. This project included a lengthy process to engage the neighborhood, including creating a good neighbor agreement and community advisory committee, but it also included a thorough inspection of the site, which led to necessary repairs and enhancements for safety, including addressing major unexpected flooding in the west building, ensuring the facility was free of mold, major elevator repairs, and installation of fire sprinklers. And all that was foundational to get to where we are today as we celebrate the beginning of the renovation work that will make this site a place that lives up to its name as the Haven. So I now want to introduce our first speaker, Mayor Kate Gallego, who pushed the entire region into a new level of engagement on the issue of homelessness by initiating the creation of the City of Phoenix Strategies to Address Homelessness Plan. Mayor.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today as we kick off Project Haven 2 construction. I want to thank all of our partners who are here today. I am joined by my partner at the City of Phoenix, who you'll hear from a moment, Councilwoman Gordado, but we have partners from throughout the nonprofit sector as well as the state of Arizona. Thank you to our team at the City of Phoenix, who is taking housing as a top priority. We were pleased to work together to come up with a housing strategy as well as a strategy for our unsheltered population. And we are stepping up with over $140 million in investments and 8 new investments coming online soon. We have been working long with Central Arizona Shelter Services, and we're really looking forward to this project coming forward. I remember getting to visit Project Haven 1, and I got to meet with a man who had moved to our community from Ohio fairly recently, and he'd hit some bumps. The job he was hoping to get had not happened as easily as he expected, but getting a great bed at Project Haven and the supportive services helped him get a job, and then he was able to go on to a successful housing situation as well as back in the workforce thanks to the partnership between CAS and the City of Phoenix. He was a little bit surprised to see me, though. They did not tell him that the mayor of Phoenix would be knocking on his door, but he was gracious nonetheless. Very authentic experience. We really appreciate that this facility will focus on having a good case manager ratio so that we can get personalized support and address whatever challenges and opportunities each individual has as they navigate towards more stable housing. The City of Phoenix is also very proud to be a dementia-friendly city. We got to work with Dr. Heather Ross of Arizona State University on that. This is a cause that is near and dear to my heart. My grandmother was diagnosed with dementia, and we were not well positioned to support her as she progressed. So trying to take what I learned from that and make sure the city does better. This project will have support services, including doing screening. We'll be doing intake screening for individuals coming into this project, because if we are able to diagnose, then we can better provide treatment and support. So that's, I think, a fairly new innovation for us, but will really show that we are honoring our older adults who will live here and trying to get the best possible outcomes for them. With all this personalized support, CAST anticipates a 75% positive housing outcome. And so we really are focused on making sure people get housed. And again, this is one of many investments we are making. Many of you were with me a few weeks ago when we broke ground with St. Vincent de Paul on a new facility. And many of you will probably be with me in a few weeks when we open up a hotel to housing program with US Vets. So we are making investments throughout the city of Phoenix and really stepping up. And so many of our neighborhoods want to be part of the solution. One part of this project that was important to me is when we made the agreement with Central Arizona Shelter Services, they did say that we will, going forward, that the next large housing facility will be outside the city of Phoenix, because we know that the more solutions we have in every part of Maricopa County, the more we can address this crisis and get more people housed. It's a very complex challenge, but I think this shows that we are trying to provide personalized services and meet people where they need to. And that's an exciting hallmark of our approach at the City of Phoenix and in Arizona. I want to thank the Arizona Department of Housing and Director of Service for your partnership, as well as all of the nonprofits, including Circle the City and more, who step up for us day in and day out. We are ready to put all options on the table, and we are looking forward to more outcomes like the gentleman from Ohio who is now succeeding in our community. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Up next, we have the chair of the city's Community and Cultural Investment Subcommittee, which includes efforts around both neighborhoods and homelessness. The Councilwoman for District 5, where we are standing, and a major champion for this project who worked directly with the community to bring it to fruition, Councilwoman Betty Guardado.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to District 5. We are very excited to be with all of you today. I think the last time we were here, we were signing a good neighbor agreement with Jeff Spellman and the VIP Coalition. I'm very excited on what is going to happen today. I have a ton of people to thank. But let me just start with, I'm going to take you guys all back to June 9th or June 5th. June 5th, I think it was, of 2019. Where Jeff Spellman and I were sitting in my office. It was my first meeting after I was inaugurated in 2019. And he said, Betty, I have a plan. I was like, oh God, okay, here we go. I'm like, what's your plan? It's my first day in office, not sure what I'll be able to deliver, but let me know what the plan is. So he showed me the plan, and he showed me his vision for 27th Avenue, showed me his vision of all the different departments and partners and everyone that we could bring together. We talked about the old Kmart, which soon to be Innovation 27, and the potential that he had there. He's like, I'm already talking to the owner, Betty. We're going to figure that place out. It's not going to be storage. It's going to be something for the community. So the first person I want to thank is Jeff Spellman. Thank you so much, Jeff, for all of your hard work on putting together the VIP Coalition, putting together all the neighbors together. I still remember the conversation with him when he said, you know, it's not about just complaining and calling and saying this is what's not working. It's also about rolling up your sleeves and getting yourself to work. So I cannot thank you enough. As much as I want to take some credit for this, I would give all the credit to Jeff and the VIP Coalition and all of their hard work and all of the neighbors that live in this area. So I'm going to start first with all of my thank yous before I get into my speech. I want to thank you, Mayor, so much for being with us today. I also want a huge shout out to our city manager, Jeff Barden, for also believing in this plan and helping us put this together, and everyone at the city manager's office, VIP Coalition, the Hub, Hatcher Urban Businesses, Washington Elementary School District. They've been a big supporter of this plan. They have their school right behind this building. Glen Canyon Vista Neighborhood Association, Alta Vista Neighborhood Association, North Glen Square Association, Royal Palm Neighborhood Association, Augusta Avenue Block Watch, State Avenue Block Watch, and all of the nearby residents Also want to thank Planning and Development Department, the VIP Coalition, Glen Canyon, our police department. Thank you guys so much for always taking all of the phone calls from our neighbors and always talking to them about all the different things that need to happen. I think it's been a great multi-department effort at the city of Phoenix, and in order to be able to create a good community safety plan. Again, this was a whole idea of the VIP Coalition. Again, thank you so much, Jeff, on making sure that we were able to put city manager's office, neighborhood services, the police department, street transportation, and parks and recreation department, along with the office of homeless solutions, public health advisor, and the prosecutor's office. And everyone is working together, because when we decided to have this location here, to say we are going to be the first district to put in a project like this, like the Haven, we said there had to be collaboration from all of these different departments. And we're very grateful to have been able to do that and put this program together. I just want to also thank all of my colleagues on the City Council for awarding $4 million of CARES Act funds to CAS, the renovation of the Old Phoenix Inn, to create the Haven. I want to thank them all for supporting us in this project. And we also want to be able to say proudly that we are going to house 170 seniors in these locations once it's ready, up and running. I remember the first time that we went to the first Haven during the pandemic, and I remember Jeff telling me, Betty, I thought I was going to see something different. And to be able to see what we saw at that location, it gave us that vision that we could redo that project here in the middle of our district. I want to also thank everyone for their leadership on making sure that we put together the Violence Impact Project, and that we were able to create this program that's going to support this facility, the 27th Avenue and 19th Avenue plan. We've invested $5 million on 27th Avenue and another $3 million on 19th Avenue to be able to deal with all the challenges in this area. So we're not only going to help house people, but we're also going to make sure that the area is safe. And the way we're going to make that happen is with the support of everyone that's here today and the support of all of our neighbors. We're very excited to be able to say that with the plan that we put together for 27th and 19th Avenue, we have now 228 Firefly gunshot detectors, 42 license plate readers, 71 point tilt zoom cameras that will be here soon, 9 police assistants, 8 police bicyclists, 20 hours of coverage per day, and the RTOCs went live. So we're very excited for this plan that was able to come together, for everyone that was able to be here. We were able to demolish the Village Inn here, just a couple steps down. We're very excited on what's going to happen at Innovation 27 as well, and in the career path that we're going to be able to create for adults and for our children here as well. And we're also very excited on everything that's coming into this corridor. Again, want to thank everyone that helped us put this together, our neighbors, our mayor, the city council, city manager's office, everyone that invested in this. Want to thank you guys all so much, and can't wait for us to see what this place is going to look like a year from now. So thank you guys all so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Next, we have a neighborhood leader who I credit with coining the phrase, "yes in my backyard," as a response to the NIMBYism he was seeing in other areas of the city. The head of the VIP Coalition, a member of the Strategies to Address Homelessness Task Force, and much more. Jeff Spellman.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mayor, Councilwoman Guardado. You guys have really said it all. But Jeff Spellman with the Violence Impact Project Coalition. And just as a point of history, we got started about 2014, 15, when we asked the city to come and help us address the problems, the growing issues along 27th Avenue, mostly with prostitution, drug dealing, and things like that. I, along with many other neighborhood leaders, had learned for a long time and a lot of experience how to pound out problems. And we know who to call to complain. Somebody said, they don't just call to complain. But that historically has been what neighborhood leaders do. We call the city when we've got problems, right? And they're usually very good to respond. We know who to talk to solve problems and so forth. But after a while, you know, you're out there pounding down problems. I liken it to, you go to the arcade and you play that game Whack-A-Mole, right? And the faster you try to pound down the problems, the faster the problems pop up. And I know there's neighborhood leaders here with me today that have experienced that same thing. But after a while, we just said, you know, what else can we do to help make this community what we want it to be, not so much focused on what we don't want it to be. I had been talking with the superintendent of Washington Elementary School District for a number of years, Pam Horton, thanks for being here today. Dr. Stanton told me, he said, Jeff, he goes, if you could do anything in this neighborhood to create stability, jobs, good training for people, families would want to stay here. They would raise their kids K through 12, and we would create stability in this neighborhood. And I can tell you, as of today, that's where we're getting to. That's the point we're getting to. We're going to have to play less and less whack-a-mole as time goes on, and we're going to be focused on what this is going to be. So Councilwoman already talked a little bit about the plan for the 27th Avenue. We created this plan, planning and development, worked very closely with us to help create our community plan for this area. Revolved a lot around zoning, redevelopment, and reinvestment in the area. And we work very closely with developers that are coming in the area to get what it is that we want in this community that will help us achieve our goals. So this corner, I mean, if you've driven in this neighborhood at all, you know that we've got problems. There's prostitution, drug dealing all up and down 27th Avenue. There's people living on the overpasses of the freeway. You see this, we know that. And as we worked on our plan for redevelopment, the biggest problem we saw was the problem with people experiencing homelessness, people living on the street, and people that were getting involved in drugs and those bad things that just turned their life into a downward spiral. So we said, one of the things we said, what can we do to help? And with that, I ran into who I now consider my good friend Craig Tripkin, at the time worked for Cass. Craig and I started having meetings and talking about what they were doing at 16th Street and Northern. I went on one of the first tours over there, and I'll tell you, we were just so impressed with what they were doing there. That was a facility, a hotel that had a lot of crime in it, just like this one did. And when they basically took that over and started housing seniors in there, people 55 and over, and to see that there were no problems. I asked my friends who lived in that neighborhood, I said, watch this place closely, make sure that they're not causing a problem. We never saw any sign that that was being operated as a shelter. I think we'll see the same thing here. So Craig, thank you for introducing me to that idea and having that conversation. I think it's the fact that Cass, along with others, started talking to the community very, very early on that got us to support it. It wasn't something that came in and said, we're going to do this. They said, as Craig said, what do you think the community would think about this? And when he told me that people 55 and older were the greatest growing demographic of people experiencing homelessness, the idea went off that said, we could do something about this. And when the city passed their plan a few years ago that said the answer to this was not mega shelters, but smaller specialized shelters in neighborhoods for specific demographics, we go, we can get on board with that. So we were one of the first neighborhoods to say yes, yes in my backyard, and we worked to get all the neighborhood leaders together. We worked closely with Cass to develop the Good Neighbor Agreement and stipulations in their zoning case for this. When this went to zoning, I can tell you there were more stipulations on this property than there are on marijuana dispensaries, if you can believe that. Yeah. And so we got what we wanted, and the people are going to be well served here. And as Councilwoman talked, also everything else that's going on along this corridor. The old Kmart was our #1 priority for redevelopment. Took us almost 4 years to get that done. The city now owns it, and it's going to be a trade school for high school, community college, and university level. And to Dr. Stanton, his thing was, if these kids across the street can look over there and say, I can get a high school education there, I can get a community college, I can even go on to university, that is going to make a difference in those kids' lives. It's going to make a difference in their family. It's going to create that stability that we want here. So we're part of the solution. We're also working very hard to make sure that the seniors who come and live here also feel part of the community. We've already introduced their management staff to the Helen Drake Senior Center right down the road, which provides services and meals and programs and stuff for them. We want them to feel at home here, because likely, where are they going to live when they come out of shelter? Hopefully right here. They might even live right next door, where we're hoping the city will acquire this hotel right next door for permanent housing. But they are moving forward with a senior housing project at the Helen Drake Senior Center, and that's going to be another place where seniors can live for the long term and have the supportive programs that they need. So with that, I really want to thank our councilwoman. She gives me too much credit for this, but she's the one that really rallied the council to get behind this, and to hear the praise and support in the council meeting when they approved this project was just, it's a vote of confidence to the work that you do, Betty. It's amazing. So thank you very much for that. We're looking forward to getting seniors. That's about 2 months away before people will be living here. Won't that be exciting? So I hope that we'll see you all again here with that. And again, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jeff. Up next, we have another member of our Strategies to Address Homelessness plan, also a neighborhood advocate, and he just happens to be the chairman of the board for CAS, Mr. Bill Morley.
Thank you, Spencer. And like everybody else, I want to say thank you to everyone who is here today. Thank you for everything you did to get this here. I am currently the CAS board chair. I also did serve on the Strategies to Address Homelessness Task Force, and I'm also on the chair of Human Services Campus and deeply involved in my neighborhood. So I'm kind of looking at this from a lot of different angles, and that's one of the amazing things to me about this project is how we have so many different people from so many different levels involved and really working together in order to make something new and different. This will be the first center only focused on seniors to open in the country, I believe. So this is a new model, not only for us, but a new model nationally. So, and we did not get here without a whole lot of work from a whole lot of people. So on behalf of the first person I would like to thank is someone who is not here today, Lisa Glow, who is the CAS CEO. After 3 years of working in a congregate shelter setting and being safe the entire time, she tested positive for COVID for the first time on Friday. So she was hoping to be here, but unfortunately was not able to. So we have a lot of thanks that I want to give, but the first thank I want to give is to Lisa. When Lisa came on as the CEO of CAS 5 or 6 years ago, one of the things she started talking about was the silver tsunami, which is the rise in homelessness among older people. She saw that as something that needed to be addressed right away. And honestly, she started working on that pretty much from day one. And if not for the fact that she had been so focused on it for so long, we wouldn't be here today. So, you know, there was a lot of things that had to be overcome in order to get here. A lot of the obstacles that we did overcome were overcome by Craig Tripkin, so who I want to thank directly as well too. He spent so much time working with Jeff and all of the other neighbors and really made the neighborhood feel safe about what it was that they were going to have here. And I cannot overemphasize enough the good neighbor agreement that Jeff talked about. That has really become the standard for new shelters that are opening, because it ensures before anything happens that the operators, the city, and everyone involved are working with the neighborhoods so that everything they do fits into the surrounding environment. And they get welcomed, not feared as they're coming in. So, you know, I want to thank all of the CAS staff. So anybody who's CAS staff that's here today, if you would stand up. So, because we would not have gotten here. As I said, I have a lot of thanks, so I'm going to spend more time thanking people than anything else, so just be prepared. There's going to be a lot of clapping over the next couple of minutes. You know, the next, Mayor Gallego, so your leadership has made such a tremendous difference. You know, we have seen a rise in homelessness over the last few years. I don't even want to think what it would be like if the city had not done as much as they have been doing in order to try to overcome the issue. You know, there are a lot of, as Jeff has said, there's a lot of people who like to complain. There are a lot of people who like to point out what's wrong. City staff, Gina Montez, Rachel Milne, everyone else who's involved. Wait, I got a couple of other names, sorry. Jessica Gonzalez, Kristen, who's here with us, Matt Vitero, Spencer. If not for you guys all being willing to actually do something, like nothing would be happening. Like the fact that you guys are in such a difficult environment, let's say right now, with competing lawsuits and everyone thinking that they know what you guys should be doing better than you do. You guys are buckling down and you're doing what it is that needs to be done, and that is fantastic. So Councilwoman Guardado, none of this would have happened without you. You know, I saw you a couple of weeks ago at your subcommittee, and one of the great things you were talking about was your district's willingness to do things like this to help, and also your district's insistence that other districts and other parts of the county and the state step up. So thank you for your leadership on getting this here, and also thank you for your leadership on what you're trying to do with expanding services to outside of here. So yeah, director service. If not for the grant that we got from the ADOH in order to do this in the first place, this would not, oh, Jiminy Christmas, sorry. None of this would exist. So, you know, the DOH was obviously an incredibly important part in getting this done. So, and that DOH involvement goes back years. I mean, as I said, Lisa started talking about this pretty much from day one. You know, she worked with legislators on the House and the Senate side, on both sides of the aisle for the last 3-4 years, trying to get this going and trying to get other things happening at the state level to have the state be an even more active partner in combating homelessness. And we're getting there, and it's taken a lot of work, and it's taken a lot of people kind of coming outside of their silos and talking to people on the other side of the aisle in order to try to make things happen. So I want to thank our, I should be clapping for everybody, I'm sorry. I got, so this applause is for everybody that I mentioned that I forgot to actually applaud. So Lourdes and Tri-Advocates, who's been working with us constantly in order to try to open doors for CAS and help everyone understand the story of CAS and what it is that we really do. So our realtor, Mike Snitz, who was the one who took the lead in getting this property for us once we were able to secure all the funding. Reginald Bolding, thank you so much for everything you did right at the end of the last session, where, even after the end of the last session, where you got us the $10 million ARPA grant that was critical for us having the money to get this done, get this open, and be able to run it once it opens. So I know there's a bunch of other people, you know, Andy from the DOA, Jessica from St. Vincent de Paul. There's too many people here. Nobody wants to hear me talk long enough to hear me say thank you to everybody. But thank you to everybody, because this is huge. This is going to save lives. This is going to make people's lives better. And this is going to help seniors who right now, you don't want them. You don't even want them. CAS does great. CAS is a wonderful organization. Not just saying that because, you know, I'm the chair. But CAS is not a great place for seniors. That's a large congregate shelter. They need some place where they are safe. They need some place where people can focus on their needs and the things that they need, and that's what this is going to be. So thank you very much. Again, I apologize to everybody I forgot.
All right, thank you, Mr. Moreland. Next, I'll welcome our partner funder in this project, Joan Service with the Department of Arizona Department of Housing.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Perfect. I'll be brief because a lot has already been said, but we are pleased to be here to celebrate the kickoff of the Haven construction project. On behalf of the governor and the Arizona Department of Housing, we're pleased to invest in projects like the Haven. Over the course of the COVID-19 pandemic, the department joined many funding partners in successfully expanding our state's housing capacity by rapidly acquiring hotels and motels and converting them into both permanent supportive housing, and quick occupancy shelter for individuals experiencing homelessness. With this project, The Haven, we're pleased to partner with the City of Phoenix in the rehabilitation efforts to support the safety and well-being of our community's vulnerable seniors facing housing insecurity. We know with the pandemic, we know as housing advocates that we were in an affordable housing crisis, and the pandemic really exacerbated that. And we know that housing is healthcare, healthcare is housing. So we really appreciate CAS's deliberate focus on our medically frail seniors in the community. So with that, congratulations to all of the partners, the community partners, the neighbors, the neighborhood investment. I also agree that the Good Neighbor Agreement, Jeff, was a crucial ingredient to the success of this project. So again, thank you to CAS, the City of Phoenix, the local communities, the neighbors that are here with us today. We look forward to hearing the success stories of the future inhabitants receiving the peaceful care, safety, security that the Haven will offer. Thanks again.
Thank you. All right, our last speaker is former State House Minority Leader, Mr. Reginald Bolden.
First, I want to say thank you and good morning. You know, anytime you have an opportunity to be a part of such an amazing project, it's always exciting. And you know, today I would really like to take the opportunity just to talk about the importance of continued investment in housing and homelessness in the state of Arizona. And as many of you know, that homelessness is a devastating experience for individuals and families. It's a complex issue that affects not only those who are living in transitional housing, but also the community as a whole. And homelessness undermines the safety and well-being of our communities, and it is our responsibility to take action. In addressing affordable housing and effectively responding to homelessness crisis has been a top priority at the state legislature for a number of years. And I'm extremely excited by the investments. Director Service talked about it, the investments that were just recently passed at the state legislature that will be providing funding to housing in general here in the state of Arizona. But with this project in particular, through some arm twisting and a little bit of negotiations, we were able to secure $10 million that will be allocated directly to the operations of this transitional housing center for our homeless community. And we are just extremely appreciative of CAS for their Herculean effort and support to make sure that seniors in our community have the resources and the support that they need. And while we celebrate today, we must remember that this will be not only the beginning, we have to make sure that we continuously have more and more investments, because this is an unprecedented challenge that we're facing. And I know collectively as a community, we can get the job done. Thank you all so much.
All right, thank you. I do want to just mention a couple of names that I didn't specifically hear in the list of all of the folks who were thanked for this project getting to where it is right now. And so those two that I want to mention, one is Gina Montez, the Deputy City Manager for the City of Phoenix, over all of the neighborhood services, the housing, the homelessness, all the really tough stuff at the city. Just kidding, I know there's a lot of tough things, but definitely some of the most difficult. And then Rachel Milne, our Director of the Office of Homeless Solutions, who wasn't here when we started this project, but has incorporated it into the larger portfolio of all of the efforts that are going on to help address homelessness citywide. So with that, I want to thank you for joining us again today for the Haven Construction Kickoff. And congratulations to everyone involved, and we look forward to the next major milestone when we can begin housing seniors. Thank you all.